To create a virtual version of the Tug-of-War circuit, let's go to tinkercad.com and sign in. If you're one of my students at Teeland Middle School, click on Sign in using Social Providers and select Google. Then sign in using your school Google account. If you're one of the students I'm working with at STEM Master Academy in China, then use the email/username that I give you. And if you're just a regular Joe following this tutorial because this is something that you're interested in building, then you can just either create an account and log in with whatever you create, or I would recommend signing in with one of these social providers. I like signing in with my Google account just because then I have one less username and password to remember. Once you're signed in, click on Circuits, then click Create a new circuit. I highly recommend immediately clicking back on the Tinkercad icon up here in the upper left corner, and then clicking on this gear icon, the options thing, and then properties. And then right away just rename this design to Tug-o-War, and then save your changes. Once you've done that, go ahead and click Tinker This. The first thing you'll want to do is add an Arduino Uno. Unfortunately, while the Tinkercad library has an ATtiny85, it doesn't have an ATtiny84, which the 85 only has 5 pins that we can use, and 84 has 11. We'll have to use the Arduino Uno because it has plenty of pins to create this project, and then we'll change those pins when we actually go to load our code to an ATtiny84. Next, we're going to need some LEDs. And if we don't type anything in up here, the very first thing we see, or the second thing I guess, is an LED. I'm going to pull over an LED right here, and I'm going to attach it to pin 10. And then I'm going to pull it down real close because we're going to have a lot of LEDs in this circuit. And right about there. And then I'm going to attach the other end to ground. And then if I double click right on the middle of this line, I get a third little point I can use to bend that wire. And you can see now I get a nice curve right into that pin. And I'm going to change the color to black. Now, I can copy that just by clicking on it and then hitting Control-C and then Control-V. So I've created another LED. If you have trouble doing the Control-C, Control-V, or if you're on a Mac, you can do Command-C, Command-V. But if you have trouble with that, then just grab another LED from over here and drag it on over. I'm going to attach the next LED to pin 9. Again, I click right on ground here, and I'll put another bend point in my wire. I'm going to put this LED over here a little bit because it's not going to be part of our scoreboard. All of the red LEDs that are going to be in a row here will be part of our scoreboard. This one is going to be the indicator that tells us when to push the button. And I'm going to go ahead and make it green. It'll be green on our actual circuit, and I'm changing the color here, and I use a green LED on the actual circuit just to make it clear that this one is serving a different function. Instead of keeping score, it's just letting us know when to click the button, when it's legal to click the button. Once you have your entire scoreboard set up here, these 7 red LEDs, the next step is to add some buttons. We got some buttons right here. I'm going to wire this button to pin 2. And I'll wire this button to pin 12. The last thing that we don't really need it, but it's kind of cool to have, is a buzzer or a piezo. I'm going to go ahead and plop mine right here. This isn't necessary to have core functionality for our circuit, but it's kind of fun. You can use it to maybe play a different tune depending on who wins, to play a tune in the event that somebody does win. Maybe every time a button's pushed, you play a quick little tone just to give a little bit of feedback there. It's up to you. You can use it in different ways. And I have included it on the circuit board so that you have just one more thing you can tinker around with. Another fun thing to program. Before we move on, I want to review real quick what we've done here. We've attached the anode of every one of these LEDs to a separate pin on the Arduino, so we can control all of these LEDs independently. We've attached a green LED to pin 6, and we've attached the cathode, the short side of these LEDs. All of them have been attached to ground, and we've indicated that by using a black wire. We've attached a button to pin 2, we've attached another button to pin 12, and we've attached the other side of the buttons to ground. We've also attached a piezo or a buzzer to pin 11. The other side is attached to ground.